Cruise news time. Well, the flash flooding in New York City has caused the delay of a couple cruises. We have a story coming from Galveston, Texas, where the state is pouring a ton of money into port renovations, including one that will be particularly good for cruisers and Carnival. The tale of woe about prices going up and debt and they booked a huge profit for the last quarter. Huge. The recovery is on the way. Will it be good or bad for cruisers? Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face. On the first day of October. How about that? We've only got a few months. We're in the final quarter, the final countdown, the final quarter of 2023. We're into the holiday season. Getting ready for first Halloween, of course. Have you picked out your Halloween costume yet? And we start off this month with some cruise news. Happy Sunday, everybody. The first story is a story of Mother Nature against the people. If you tracked along with it, New York City got hit with a ton of rain, which resulted in flash flooding in the city on Friday. And two cruises that were set to sail out of New York City on Friday were delayed because of the flash flooding. People getting to the port out of an abundance of caution, they delayed these cruises. Cruise on the Carnival Venezia 15-day journeys cruise was delayed for 2 hours so that the streets could dry up a little bit, make a safer condition for people to get to the cruise terminal. And the Queen Mary 2 also had a sailing delayed. They didn't leave until 10 p.m. on Friday, giving people plenty of time to navigate the streets as the waters receded. I did see a report today from my friend and friend of the show, Doug Parker from Cruise Radio. He is on the Carnival of Venezia right now. He talked about this flooding. Make sure you check out Cruise Radio, the YouTube channel, and the podcast. But I hope Doug has a good journey, even though the beginning was delayed. Cruise news story number 2, the sweetheart cruise port of America right now, the 4th busiest cruise port in America, Galveston, Texas. That port area, not specifically the cruise terminals, but some cruise money. But all in all, the state has appropriated over $42 million for renovations in the port area. $42.3 million to be exact. And it's going to go toward a lot of projects, including improving the roads around the port. But the one project that I wanted to highlight from a cruiser perspective, let me throw this map up. This is the Carnival cruise terminal. A lot of the parking there is on the non-water side of Harbor Boulevard. And there at 25th Avenue, passengers have to cross the street, very busy Harbor Boulevard, to get over to the cruise terminal if they haven't been dropped off. There is a walkway right there at 25th Avenue, an over-the-road walkway that was built in the 1990s. However, it has been in disrepair and unused for 20 years. So part of this $42 million, over $3 million, and then $1 million that the port is putting in themselves, a $4.85 million project to make a safe passageway over Harbor Boulevard for cruisers trying to get to the cruise terminals. That's pretty cool. And of course, this is a great example of how when things start rolling in a positive direction, well, they continue to roll on. Galveston has been doing well with their cruising activities. A lot of infusion of money coming to Galveston from cruising, multiple cruise lines coming to Galveston, and then, of course, the state responding with more funding to help the cycle continue. So there you go. Deep in the heart of Texas. Congratulations, Galveston, on the upgrades. Can't wait to see how they upgrade this walkway. Yeah, there you go. Now I got to tell you about the big revelation that came from the announcement of earnings from Carnival Corporation just a couple days ago. But before I do that, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. And well, did you guess the Wheel of Fortune puzzle yesterday? Here it is again. You had a few letters. It was a catchphrase. This one was easy peasy lemon squeezy. Shout out Luda. That's a pretty familiar one. And now here is today's puzzle. I'll give you a moment to look it over. What do you think the hidden message is? All right, let's talk about Carnival's earnings call. Let's set the context. Remember, Carnival was one of the cruise companies that took on massive debt during the shutdown. And we've heard messaging from Carnival that they're not going to build ships for a while, that they're just going to focus on paying down their debt and returning the company to profitability. We've seen a lot of cost-cutting measures across all of the cruise lines, including Carnival. We've seen some increased cruise prices. We've seen some decreases in cruise services. And all of that comes under the guise of making these businesses functionable again. Functionable, is that a word? You know, servicing the debt, getting operating costs in line. And we would expect them to return to some form of profitability. And well, Carnival has exceeded expectations. The report that came out on Friday for Q3, they did $6.9 billion in revenue. So revenue, what they charge the people for all of the cruises and the services and all of those things, anything that Carnival sold people, equaled $6.9 billion in revenue. Now, out of that $6.9 billion in revenue, Carnival had to take out all of their operating costs, all of the payments that they're doing to service the debt. And then whatever's left after all of those expenses, well, that's the profit. That's the money that they can reinvest and do other things with and pay bonuses and make stockholders happy, all that stuff. And you would expect them to return to profitability. That's what the stockholders want. And well, they did it. $1.07 billion in the 3-month period of Q3 2023. Look, I believe in capitalism. I believe that the market helps determine what we pay for things. And I am certainly not upset about a company making profit, but I do somewhat feel dissatisfied when that progression to such a big pile of profit comes with this messaging, this, hey, you should accept these changes that we're making because, you know, the times are tough and there's inflation and we have debt and all that kind of stuff, which is true for everybody living in the world right now. I hate when you get that kind of messaging like, don't be sad that we took away services. Everything's more expensive right now. Everybody's taking away services. And whambo blambo, we made $1 billion in 3 months. $1 billion profit. I'm not mad. That's business. And it's my job as a consumer to make my decisions based on those things. But wow, it's kind of like when the gas prices are high and you see oil companies making billions of dollars. You're like, okay, why are my gas prices so high? Because they can be? Is that why they're so high? Because that's what the market will bear? That's the way it works. You know, consumers will pay what they'll pay, and then eventually they won't pay, and then prices will change. And again, I don't want to go on a whole diatribe here. I'm excited for Carnival. It means strength for the cruise industry that they are profitable. It means they're doing something right from a management perspective to mind their operating costs and get money to flow to the bottom line. It's not without notice, though, that part of that comes from increased prices for the consumer and different services, you know, service level for the consumers. But yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, it didn't make the stock pop or anything. It's, you know, it's hovering in the $13, $14 range. But yeah, Carnival, cha-ching, carrying the bag. How about that? Boom. That is your cruise news for the first day of October 2023. Hope everybody is having an awesome Sunday. My name's Tony for La Lido Loca. And until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.